Hello everyone, welcome to Database Management. This is week 9 and this is actually a week of spring break but I think for the online course we do not have the spring break. So for this week let me go through the midterm exam questions in more detail and then you can actually learn what you have do what you have already done right and what you have already done actually not right. Okay, so we have 20 questions and let's start with the first one. The first one is primary key must be unique across all the rows in the table. And I believe most of the people, or maybe nearly all the students, actually get that correct. It is true. The primary key is uniquely identify all the rows in the table. The second one is foreign key must be unique across all the rows in the table. So for any table, we will have one primary key, but we can have multiple foreign keys. The foreign key definition is a foreign key is actually a primary key for another table. So for this table, where the column is actually the foreign key, it does not necessarily to be unique across all the rows. And that's the difference between the primary key and foreign key. Okay, so for the foreign key, it not necessarily to be unique across different in this particular table. Okay, the third one is what is a bad practice when designing the structure of a field? And if you can recall in one of the slides that I put together, it describes all the good practice of a particular to design a structure of the field. And in one of that, it's one field appear only once in the entire database, no matter what conditions. Actually, sometimes the field will be repeated among different tables. That's when those columns are used to connect tables. So this one is wrong because I replaced when they're necessary to link tables by no matter what conditions. So sometimes we do need field to appear in multiple tables in the database. The fourth one is what is a bad practice in design tables? So yeah, it's similar to the problem above. If you can recall, in one of the slides, I included all the good practice, and this one is kind of like in the original PowerPoint. What I mentioned is do not include a multi-part or multi-value field in tables, and I remove the do not, and then it's become a bad practice. Number 5, I think this one, I think probably all the students get it correct. The composite primary key is actually contained 2 or more fields. And number 6, that is the cascade deletion rule. Okay. Basically, when we delete the record on the one side of the relationship, it will cause the system to delete any related record in the subordinate table of a one-to-one relationship. So that's how the cascade deletion rule is defined. So it will cause the system to delete. And number 7, in SQL, what is the value of null plus 23? So as I mentioned in the null, when we describe the null value is a very special value. So no matter what kind of operation you apply to that, then the result will be null. So null plus 23, it is null because we do not know what is null. And then you added 23 to you something you do not know, you still do not know what the result. So if you got that wrong, please go back to the slides and read through the properties for null. Okay, number 8, in SQL, cast a string to a state. So for this one, because we're using the cast function, it will return a type of date. So this is not going to be a character. Number 9, I think nearly all students get this one correct. How to list the column names in types table with name student. The table with name student with the describe students is going to show all the detail. MySQL Workbench does not support full outer join. That is actually true. Question 11 and 11 to 16 are based on the following two tables. Let's look at the tables. The student table, there's 3 columns: student ID, last name, and department ID. And department table, there are only 2 columns: department ID and department name. What is the result of these SQL scripts? Select last name from student where department ID is not null. So it's used only one table, student table. So it's going to choose all the last name where the department ID is not null. Basically, it will be Lee, Duke, Lee. So that's the correct answer. Second one, still based on the same table. What is the result of this SQL scripts? Select student last name, department name from students, inner join departments on students, department ID is equal to departments, department ID. So this is basically an inner join. When we do the inner join, it's only to keep all the rows that is conditioned to be true. So students, department ID, and departments, department ID. Let's look at student department ID. We have 2, 3, null, and 3. Department ID, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 99. Okay, for this particular one, we're going to match. We're going to return student last name and department name from the joined result. In this particular one, we're going to match like department 2. Department 2 is going to give us stat. Department 3 is going to give us physics. Now it's not going to be included because there's no match condition. And 3 is going to give us physics. Okay, so we're going to the last name Lee, Duke, Lee, and the department name will become stat, physics, and physics. So basically that's the correct result. Okay, the next one still based on these two tables, and what we're going to do is a left outer join. So the left outer join is basically the definition of anything in the inner join plus the non-matched rows from the table before the left outer join, which is the student table. Okay, let's look at the table here. We have already first, second, and the fourth row. Whatever left is actually the third row, which is going to give us the last name Wang and the department ID, and there's no match, so the department name will be null. So it's going to give us, as we can see, the first 3 are from the inner join. The next row is actually from the student table. There's no match to the inner join condition. Question number 14 are very similar, and we're still using the same table. We're using the right outer join. In this particular one, it's going to include all the result from the inner join as well as any of the rows. There's no match, for the inner join. In this particular one, the not matched one is actually we're going to have I think those two we have matched information, and all the rest is actually non-matched information. The department name, because we're going to return department name, and the student last name. Okay, so the student last name will be null, the department name will be math, that's one row, and then uh, student name will be null, the department name will be art, that's another row, and also we have this one. So this is the department ID is null, but the student name is null as well. So this is the right answer. Okay, so in this particular one, what's the result for this SQL scripts? It's actually a union. We're trying to select the student's from the student's table, the last name where student ID is less than 2. The student ID less than 2, then which basically Lee and Duke. And the second piece is select department name from department where department ID is less than 2. So for that one, we're going to have math instead, less than 2, the department ID less than 2. Then we're going to be uniting those two pieces together. And when we actually uniting two set of results, they have to have the same number of columns. In this one, there's only one column, so they are going to be a kind of combined together. So that's Lee, Duke, math instead. That's the correct answer. The next question, still based on those two tables. What is the result? Select last name from the student table where the department ID is in a particular selection. Okay, so the department ID in a particular selection. So what selection? Okay, I'm going to select department ID from the department table where the department name like a particular regular expression. This is kind of like P. Any of the department name, we have a capital P inside. So we look at that. Actually, the only one has a department name with a capital P is physics. So with that filter, the department ID will be only 3. So the department ID in 3, which is physics, we look at student table who has the department ID to be 3, which is Duke and Lee. So that's basically the correct answer. The next one is in SQL, when we are using union to combine two results, the number of columns in these two results must be the same. That is actually true. When we're uniting two set results, they have to have the same number of columns. In SQL, using union will automatically delete duplicate rows in the final result. That is correct. And if you want to keep duplicate result, you have to use union all. 19, we cannot use left outer join and right outer join to realize the full join condition. It is actually, we can do that because in a MySQL workbench there's no full outer join keywords, so we have to use the left outer join, union, the right outer join to get the full outer join. So that statement is false. The last one, in SQL Standard, which of the following will return a true? Okay, so it will be true or null, and true and false will give us false. False or null is going to give us null. Not null is not going to give up us true. It's just not null. False and null is going to give us false. So this in this particular one, you can refer to the two 2x2 tables where we have actually 3x3 tables. We have true, false, and null under the definition of actually which one is going to be true. And also you can quickly try that by using your MySQL workbench. You select true or null to see what is the result. Okay, that's all for today's lecture in terms of go over the midterm exam. And for today, that's all. There's no homework, and hope you are gonna have a happy spring break. Thank you.